Like, this is going to be wildly off tangent, but, like, there's a whole thing, like, some people look like their fingernails like this, and some people look at their fingernails like this. What's the standard here? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of Escaflowne. Sorry, Escaflowne. I was literally just saying I say the name wrong all the time, and I said it wrong to begin with. Before anything else, though, we do have a board, and with the board comes the board changelog. Not a lot to go over today. I added spots for Hitomi's dad and her little brother, as well as Prince Sheed, I want to say, which is, of course, related to the king of Astoria, but is only somebody who's brought up in reference to a thing and isn't actually introduced to us yet. I assume they'll show up at some point, considering that Zybok is essentially raising up to conquer the Kingdom of Fried, the Duchy of Fried. Sorry, I don't have the name written down. Fried. They're going to conquer Fried, which is a thing because apparently Prince Sheed is the great grandson or the grandson of the king. So it is a whole character motivation thing as well as a more politics related thing. But we have notes about that to come. In fact, you know what? Actually, let's just go ahead and jump into the notes. As I have pointed out, there's nothing more about the board happening here. And of course, if you want to see more about the board, somewhere down below in the description will be a board link for you to see it outside of whatever smaller version you're seeing here in the video. Let's see. La Temperanza, aka Temperance, is last episode's tarot card. At least this one looks like it's a classical counterpart. Not that I exactly get the meaning of temperance with an angel mixing drinks at the side of a river, but hey, I'm no expert. I gotta admit, not exactly sure where the theme of temperance is visible in the episode either. Nobody literally did anything related to temperance. I mean, if you see it, point it out in the comments. I didn't. Hitomi's dream certainly speaks to which of the three love interests she is all about pursuing at the moment. Well, sort of. She's imagining Alan as Amino at first, which is certainly some mixed signals. The most interesting aspects of the dream were the fact that it reminded her of her pager before it ever went off. Seemingly a forgotten item of her belongings before then. Additionally, we also got a flash of the tower, the very first card we saw in the very first episode, and an element of Hitomi's first vision of Gaia. I suppose, not least of all, it's also foreshadowed Van's angel catch. It seems like everything Hitomi does is some form of soothsaying. I don't know how to handle Myrtle's constant thieving. It's annoying, but at the same time, Myrtle can be a good person when the need arises. I mean, granted, not maybe this episode where she, like, tries to hide and can't think of a way to help anybody. In past episodes. In one past episode, she helped. I don't know. I feel like the only thing to do is turnabout. Steal her necklace when she's asleep and use it to bargain for your stuff back every time she robs you. A note I made in episode 1. Point of interest, the grandmother gave Hitomi the pendant. I assume she's going to be someone important in the other world. Kind of a Ni no Kunai situation. Well, this episode, Hitomi brings it up again when comparing it to the dragon heart thing of the Escaflowne. So, my episode 1 note and my episode 8 observations are coming together. Another reference to Marlene, I got a guess older sister. Maybe was married off politically to the Duchy of Fried, but something happened? Would explain the sudden connection Malerna makes and the king's reluctance to allow Zybok to do anything were she alive. as it stands, at the very least, I can understand everything the king is doing. Locking up Alan serves the country's best interest, as well as Alan's, as it prevents him from from running amok and causing problems that could get you in trouble as well as get him in trouble. Additionally, I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that Astoria could stand up to Zybok. So to deny them passage and space to land their to launch their assault would only make Astoria a target. The king may not serve the common good, but he at least serves his people's good. Although the addition of his own grandson, Prince Scheid, possibly getting killed, does mar that practical nature quite a bit, he very much sits in the middle of the morality game, but keeps dipping his toe into the side of evil. Rip Nina? I know it was a snake on the bad guy side, but it was still just a pet, a trained animal doing what it was told. Not saying it shouldn't have been killed in the circumstance, just a regrettable situation. Speaking of deaths, the Zybok commander fell down a hill and cracked his head open. How ignoble. I at least appreciate that it was just a very real way to go, and shows that not everyone gets a big battle to die in. Pretty smart of Van to recognize the opportunity before him when Hitomi accidentally led them to an Energist mining area. Gives us some insight into his way of thinking, that his first go was that this would be a good way to deny Zybok resources for whatever they were doing. And my last note here, 2 things about the end of the episode. 1, Amano is doing a damn good job of holding on to Hitomi's heart, considering that he's no longer physically present to compete with Vaughn or Alan, yet he's still in her thoughts. Secondly, I guess Vaughn and Fulkin are just of the same ilk. To be fair, we never saw their parents to know that they were different from the rest of their countrymen, something the show is really going to have to expound upon. Also, any breakdown of Angel from X-Men usually covers how useless Angel wings would be if you didn't have frail bird bones to go with it. Because to make the wings useful, you gotta really reduce a lot of the weight a person would have. Anyway, those are my thoughts about last episode. That said, I guess there's nothing left to do but to go ahead and hop on in, see what's up.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
For some reason, this show is louder than every other show we watch during the day. Like, I do have to crank down the first show because typically I edit in the loudest volume possible to make sure that I pick out all of the static that you guys don't hear due to the filter, but that I do record in. But after that, every show is the same volume. Maybe that's the grandmother? I don't know. She looks too young. But maybe she ages differently because she's an angel. Wait, never mind. Hitomi, well, I don't know why Hitomi's grandmother would be an angel. Shot in the dark there. Anyway, I get through all the shows, and all the shows stay the same volume. And then we get to Escaflowne, which just cranks it up by like 20 decibels for no good reason. Thoughts, though? Clearly, I think the Zybok commander probably sent a message to Delandu that the Escaflowne was here, or even maybe that Vaughn was here, if he wants a promotion. And that Delandu is now going to be hot on the trails of Vaughn and the Escaflowne. It's either that or he's going to be there during the operation to attack Freed.
天野先輩
You know, Vaughn, I think you should probably be really concerned. La Vita. Life? Is La Vita life?
私の翼やめー見ないでバン様を見ないで
Seriously, though, I'd be really concerned, Vaughn, about the amount of shedding that you're doing.
この羽
You are losing a lot of feathers.
母上泣かないでこの羽なんだかとっても悲しい
Oh yeah, I almost forgot that Hitomi also has the power of past vision. Like she did with Alan.
気ぃつけろ地面にぶつかるぞ
分かってるよ。
隊長
Normally you would stay low to avoid, like, radar.
行動をとって別のルートをダメだこのまま進め
Cybok ships stay high
危険は100
in the atmosphere. They'd be able to look down and see you.
ザイバッハに気づかれずにフレイド公国に行くにはこの航路しかないお前たちにしかできないゲートだろたく野郎ども気を抜くな見事この谷を抜けてザイバッハの度肝を抜いてやれおい
I think it's still pretty obvious.
お前も来る
You're a large moving object growing over the tops of trees. Zabak is going to be looking down on you.
お姉様ミラード止めても
So Malerna is on her way to Freed, I assume.
国を捨てて一人で何もできないあなたが子供扱いはやめて私はもう大人よお姉様もお父様もいつもそう私の気持ち
Well, Mole Man is constantly finding a way to stay in the picture.
あなたのためだからです美術の勉強をやめさせたのも王族の者が美術の心得など何になるというの私は人のために役立つことがしたかったの王族の者はその位により民に尽くせばよいのです身勝手こそ民への冒涜です私はアレンが好きなの私は行きますさよならお姉様
I mean, it's not like they don't both have points.
さよなら
I will say that Malerna is being the more selfish of the two, though. Not that she could get a lot done, though, considering what her father is up to. How cool, Atlantis is still a thing. Wait, who's the destroyers of Atlantis? Never mind, probably Zybok. Is that going to imply that Zybok is Atlantis? That Atlantis left Earth and came to Gaia? Sorry, nothing implies that. I mean, those are just my thoughts.
ファーネリアばあ様やめてくださいばあ様
I guess if you did have wings, you'd be tempted to jump off the roof, wouldn't you?
でも危のございますいいから見てろって
So quite literally, it's not even a secret. Everyone knows.
敵本陣の一番乗りは我が隊がもらうぞ
ファーネリアの耳がエスカフローネ
How did it get sealed in a rock? If it was just out and about all the time.
この戦が終わったら出て行くのか。はい。もう一度自分自身を 鍛え直したいと思います。そうか。寂しくなる。殿、このご恩は。
Oh, so obviously he dies, and Balgus makes a pledge to protect his son or educate his son or something.
ファーネリアへ帰ってきてくれ。殿。
Vaughn's dad looks a whole hell of a lot like Alucard from Hellsing. I'm assuming that's going to be Van's mother.
竜神人、アトランティスの末裔、伝説の魔族が。殿、危のございます。お下がりください。やめ、バルガス。あれが魔物か。美しい。
That's how demons get you.
命を奪われてもよいわ。
Literally, that's how a succubus operates. If she was an actual demon, you're a fool.
なぜ私の名を？
今夜、幻の月が西の山の上にあるとき、運命の男が来る。私が生まれた時の占いの言葉。
運命。
そう。これは運命の出会い。
運命か。
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this kind of fate. I mean, it's different if she, like, fell in love with him at first sight, because it would be a matter of her choosing. But legit, she's, like, waited here for you. And she was like, I'm gonna fall in love with the first guy who comes out here. What is Atlantis to you?
言い伝えがどうであろうと、バリエには関係ない。私はバリエを愛してしまった。我とバリエを引き裂くことは何者にもできはしない。おお、男だ。
Well, I mean, we really haven't covered how he dies. Is it going to be from the inside?
バーン・ファーネル。
Does he, like, get assassinated or something? But, I mean, literally everyone's seen the wings. It's not even a thing anymore. Don't let anyone see your wings as we hover here above the entire city. Again, he just died of natural causes. Take my brother's place. Does this mean that Fulkin already turned traitor? Yeah, okay. That happened. So I guess he blames Fulkin for his mother looking for him and getting killed. Although, technically she's gone missing. Possibly still alive. Possibly the woman in the intro.
私は好きだよ。とっても綺麗だよ。
お前とメルルぐらいだよ。そんなこと言うやつは。
それって私とメルルと同じレベルってこと？
Do men like to be called pretty? I mean, like, should you call the wings handsome? Like, I don't know what the standard here is. Like, this is gonna be wildly off tangent, but like, this whole thing, like, some people look like their fingernails like this, and some people look at their fingernails like this. What's the standard here? This is the prognostication engine? So what the fuck is Dornkirk?
バン、これからどこへ行くの？
フレイド公国が確かこの近くにある。
He legit seemed like the God King Emperor or whatever. Just built into a thing.
待ってバン。
どうした？
なんだか嫌な気分。よくわかんないんだけど、でも何よ？何かいるの？
Is it something here, or can she sense Dornkirk looking at her?
あれか。
Oh, nope, called it right from the beginning. Delando is looking for him.
バン、気をつけて。
財は歯の見えないやつらか。
いる。確かにいる。どこにいるの？
I can say, among anti-cloaking technology, this is the cheatiest. Can you imagine watching Star Trek and then the Romulans attack? And everyone looks to Hitomi on the bridge? I guess technically that would be, sorry, that would be the empath they have on the bridge.
まるでこちらが見えているような。寝言はやめろ。当てればいいんだよ。死ぬ程度に。どこから来る？走るぞ。逃すな。
I mean, to be fair, these are the Dragon Slayers. I would kind of assume that they would at least be on Vaughn's level. Every one of them.
よし。ひとみ、メルル、降りろ。
どうする気？
いいから早く。
どうする気なの？
So one episode they say Guy Melps won't fight in water. And he goes into water. And now we're just doing it again.
かかったな。水の中では姿を消しても無駄だ。姿さえ見えれば。小賢しい。
Is it though? Because I still think they've got the advantage. Like the fact that they all have ranged weapons, essentially. If they weren't stupidly going in one-on-one with you. Never mind. Apparently they're smart as I am. I honestly appreciate them a lot more now. Appreciate them is wrong, since they're the villains, obviously. I appreciate the show's writing a lot more now.
どうしよう。バン様が捕まっちゃう。誰か
バーンよ、これが定め。ノルテの方角より受けうね。何？
Does this indicate that her necklace can change fate now, too? Like, I don't know what the glowing effect is meant to imply, considering Alan and the group just showed up out of nowhere.
再会できて嬉しいよ。
滝様か。あれ。
Did that gear just activate to tell you that Hitomi was there? Some of these people survive some real lucky-ass shots. Well, that's surprising. That's even more surprising that the main character actually just got fucking hurt. So, my previous surprise was that Delando actually seemed to care that Miguel was getting taken out. Oh, I thought they were implying that the freed military could actually stand up to Zybok. Also, how could they not spot you? If you could see them, they can certainly see your glowing-ass airship. Oh, there's no way this people... Sorry, seeing that their structure is actually just like a old-timey town on top of floating rock, they are not holding up to Zybok.
私のせいだ。私を助けようとしたから。アレンさん。ガデス？その声はガデスでしょ？
And as we covered, she used to study medicine.
皆さんもご一緒だったのね。誰か怪我人ですか？あれ、どうなさったの？あれ、あれ。この出血はガデス、何をしてたの？早く処置を。このままじゃアレンが持たないわ。
しかし医者が
船長、そんな。
お姫さんできるんでしょ？あんた医術を習っていらっしゃった。
でも
I hate that I'm in the same boat as Mole Man.
そんな。
大丈夫。アレン隊長に生きていてほしいんだろう。
But why does he look so goddamn insidious in the background right now?
やります。野村さん、私の青いカバンを持ってきて。
これでしょ。
ほら出ろ、ゆっくりだ。
もしお頭が死んだら、てめえはすぐに殺す。
I must have missed when they captured one of these guys. I guess that's Miguel then.
暴れないように抑えててね。
隊長。
神様、お願いです。
Also implying that in the middle of trying to rescue Alan, they also sent other guys to capture that guy and his guy MILF. Sorry, a sudden thought, even though we were like right there at the very end of the episode, when I was looking at the back end of the freed airships, I'm thinking to myself, who would win in a fight? The Iron Vulture or these freed airships? I don't even know why. Such a bad matchup. If you don't know, Iron Vulture is a flying air pirate ship from Tailspin. Looks like a giant vulture. Middle face bit, but it's also got these like inflated things on the side and these turbine things that hold it up in the air. It's mainly like a carrier for a bunch of like small World War I air combat ships stuff. It's so just one step ahead of what it feels like the freed airships are that I don't think the freed airships would be able to handle it. Completely off track from the topic of discussion of the show. I at least enjoy that they entertain that the main characters can be hurt.
Escaflowne. 誰かを心から信じたことがありますか？
やかし人か。
動き誰？
I appreciate. Anyway, no, that's what I was saying before. I got thrown by the doppelganger part in there that we're gonna get somebody who can then, I guess, assume different forms. We have Phil Fisher in the chat saying, I haven't watched a lot of Tailspin, but Iron Vulture is in the newer DuckTales cartoon. This is something I have said off recording. I don't know if I've even typed it into Discord, but I've talked about it before with like other private conversations with people I've had on other reactions. I don't like the new DuckTales cartoon, specifically because of how it's trying to fold in the other Disney afternoon stuff into itself. Like, DuckTales was fine by itself. Don't fold in Tailspin or Darkwing Duck. I don't like the new origin of Darkwing Duck in the new DuckTales cartoon. Darkwing Duck was its own thing, and it was good. Now they're having him as like an actor who plays Darkwing Duck in the new DuckTales show, who then becomes Darkwing Duck because of the events. No, that's not the origin of Drake Mallard, aka Darkwing Duck. Also, Launchpad McQuack is a different character from DuckTales to Darkwing Duck. It's not the same character. They're not a shared universe, as much as you might think, even though they both have Gizmo Duck as well. It's been stated they're different universes. Additionally, Tailspin was never in the same universe as Darkwing Duck, so doesn't even make any sense to me. Anyway, constantly off topic. Hell, maybe that should have been the name of the channel, not Stoneface Reactions, but constantly off topic. Yeah. It was very surprising to me that Delandu seemed to care that what's his name had been knocked out, but maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe that was one of the other Dragon Slayers that cared. That seems well out of character that Delandu would care about what happens to one of his Dragon Slayers, considering how much he's punching them around all the time. What else? I mean, they don't do a lot of work separating the princess from her doctoring background. Like, literally, they bring it up out of nowhere that she wants to study doctoring. It's like, no, you need to use your position as a noble to better serve your people. So what so happens in the episode? Alan gets stabbed. There's no doctors anywhere. Who's a doctor? We literally watch Infinite Rivus before this, and they establish that Criff is a medical student, like in episode 5, and it doesn't pay off until like episode 20, right? That's the distance that Infinite Rivus puts between its bringing something up and paying it off. This was like 20 minutes. So for me, that's the funniness there. Other than that, though, yeah, I guess we just got to cover the element of what is Hitomi's necklace's ability that she prays, it glows, and then help arrives instantly. And the idea that, hey, Vaughn, don't show everybody that you've got wings as I hover here in the middle of the city, showing everybody our wings. This episode, I enjoyed the ending. By the ending, I mean the combat between Delandu and Vaughn and Alan. Immensely. It was, I think, the best combat so far. Granted, it's not as impactful as some of the previous combats, but I enjoyed the element that I called out a thing, they did the thing, it was intelligent for me, so it worked. But this episode really lacks in a number of segments where it is essentially, this doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it for more than 2 seconds. So, fails on that aspect. Also, really, it's like the third time we've seen Dornkirk, and really got to figure out what's happening there. There's going to be a lot for me to take note on here when I go and do my notes. That's all I'm saying. A lot of stuff I'm going to like crack on it about for not making a lot of sense, but there's a lot of stuff there that I actually want to look into and see where it contributes to the story or what I might think comes of it story-wise. Again, like Dornkirk's prognostication machine, now that we've actually seen it. I think there's an element that I watch it on a darker screen. So the element that he's looking at a darkness and saying the shadow of the dragon is covering it up. I think I want to try and put it on a brighter screen and see if I can make out more of what he's looking at. Again, also the element of the destroyers of Atlantis. What does Atlantis mean to Gaia? Is the Earth Atlantis, or I guess Mystic Moon Atlantis, going to be the same Atlantis? Like, survivors of that is what forms the Atlantis mythos? Or that's all I've got. I think this is all really going to have to wait until I come back with notes to be able to figure it out. Otherwise, it's going to be a long ramble of no end in sight. So, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?